Dr. Pigge, welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Heather.
I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to allow me to interview you. Being not only an alum of Bethany College, but also of women's soccer, I'm honored to be able to talk to you today. We're going to go through just a few highlights about Dr. Joyce Pigge. You'll see those on the screen. So there are way too many to go through, but we've highlighted just a few here. So in 1970, Dr. Pigge founded and coached Bethany's first women's basketball program. In 72, she founded the women's volleyball program, of which you will hear more information about coming towards the end of our interview time. From 70 through 74, she led women's intramurals with the assistance of the Women's Intramural Council, created by her for this purpose. A wonderful honor in 2015, she was nominated and inducted as a member of the NAIA Hall of Fame and continues to be part of that Bethany College Hall of Honor as well. So many wonderful things that describe some of what you have done, but we are here today to talk specifically about this locker room campaign for the women's locker room at Bethany College. So again, thank you for your time. As most everyone is aware, you have certainly set the bar high in the humility you show surrounding the actual impact that you have made on Bethany College. I'm going to put you on the spot for this question, but can you describe how you feel about this honor surrounding the locker room campaign?
Well, I am very honored by this. As anyone watching this who's been involved in women's athletics at Bethany for any number of years knows that we've needed this update to the lockers, and I'm not making light of it at all when I say of my retirement from Bethany after 50 years provided a, kind of a impetus for my name being attached to this because of my involvement with women's athletics all these years. Then I'm happy to be a part of this for sure, because it's very much needed, and I know that all the women's programs will benefit from this. The visual factor when any prospective student athlete comes to look at the facilities is not always the difference between why someone decides to come or not come, but it's certainly one of the factors that would have an influence. And so it's important that however we present Bethany College, that it's always in the best light and the one that and an image that will appeal to 18 and 19-year-olds, assuming anybody can figure that out. No, didn't want to say that. So anyway, so I'm very honored and humbled by this recognition, Heather. Thank you.
That's wonderful. While we continue talking, we are going to put some numbers up on the screen about the locker room campaign. So far, 134 individuals have given to this campaign, all in various amounts, starting as little as $25, and it's made a big impact. So Dr. Pigge, as people have a chance to peruse through this, can you elaborate on what it means to have so many people contribute in whatever amount they can to this campaign?
When the director of advancement told me a few days ago that it was 134 people, I was astonished. I mean, not that I didn't think people were going to give, but that I think says a lot about Bethany, that 134 individuals would choose to make a contribution to Bethany and to Bethany athletics. And that speaks to the possible continued involvement of those individuals in their contributions to Bethany, not just for athletics, but of course for the institution. As I learned a long time ago, working alongside of Kenny Shugren and Mr. Birch when he was in that office, that having a person open their wallet once to make a contribution tends to increase the chances that they might feel compelled to do it a second time or a third time. Not that it has to be large, 4, 5, 6 figures. It's that they give what they can and are committed to their support for Bethany, that they try as best their resources will permit to give multiple times. So
I think that's 100% proven when you see that even the smallest amount was $25, and look at what it's doing when everyone has come together. Then
right, exactly,
it makes a difference, and it adds up. That summation is a really neat thing to see for sure. So lastly, because we're going to keep this brief, I feel I have to ask, can you put into words not only what you feel the impact of this campaign needs for Bethany College, but also specifically for women's athletics at Bethany College? And I know you touched on it briefly a little bit earlier, but whatever you want to expand upon on that as well.
Well, I think it speaks to the commitment of the institution to provide additional and better facilities for the women's program over the country. Over the years, women's athletics at the college level has improved greatly, but it still has a long ways to go when you consider that the NCAA Division I women's basketball program in national championships in 21 has demonstrated clearly what it was that the NCAA was not doing for the women at that level compared to what they were doing for the men. And to their credit, the NCAA made substantial changes and upgrades to their national championship experience for the women in 22, but there was still a report out by the NCAA with an outside agency that said, well, there's still things that need to be done. So Heather, as a professional yourself, I don't know how to say this. Sometimes we get tired having to beat our head against the wall, but we still keep going because we have to. I remember when I asked who was then Keith Rasmussen, who was the athletics director at Bethany and the head football coach, if we could start a basketball team, and he could have said no, but he didn't. And he was very supportive. And George and I came to Bethany at the same time in the fall of 70. George to be the men's basketball coach. He was also the baseball coach and assistant track coach and assistant football coach, as everybody did everything then. And George was very helpful. But all women across the country at that time who were involved in intercollegiate sports did it on a shoestring. It's just the way it was. And that's not a complaint. That's a simple statement of where things started. It may seem to people watching this that 1970, 71, 72 was a long time ago, but in one sense, it really wasn't. We're still, and I'm using the broadest we, not just Bethany College, we're still working to advance women's athletics at the high school level and at the college level. So it's life. So,
well, I think it speaks volumes as to what you just said. When you went to ask about starting that, they said yes. The college said yes.
Yes.
Had you not asked, you never would have known, but they said yes. And now in 2022, they're saying yes again to women's sports, right? They're taking the person that first said yes to, and they're taking this locker room and they're saying, yes, let's do it again. So
the thing I probably feel most proud of, frankly, is that we would eventually had women's athletics at Bethany. It would have happened eventually because it was happening all around us. but it wouldn't have happened in 1970 and then volleyball in 72. And the women who were at Bethany then would not have had that opportunity.
Yes.
And that's what I feel most proud about, that whatever I was able to do to initiate that and to have the temerity to think that I could coach those sports. But you know, back in those days, vast majority of women, if they learn how to play those sports by either in the backyard with their neighbors or in a church hall or some sort of gym. And we all started from, scratch, as it were. We had a lot of fun, and we won more than we lost. So hey, can't scoff at that for sure. But it was an opportunity that those women had that it wouldn't have happened at that time. It would have happened later. And so I feel really very good about that.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Okay, so as we round out our time with Dr. Pigge this afternoon, I want to keep everyone abreast of how the project is coming along and highlight some upcoming events. So those will be up on the screen here as well. The locker room renovations began on Tuesday, July 26th with demolition of the current locker room. The flooring and lighting are slated to begin in a few weeks, and if the project remains on schedule, the ribbon cutting ceremony will occur the night of the women's volleyball 50th reunion game and celebration. So make sure you take note of what's on the screen here. The details are there. Of note, we see it's against Kansas Wesleyan. There's going to be a blue out, so wear your college attire. And you can see here, there is a wonderful t-shirt that will be available for sale, celebrating the 50 years of Bethany College women's volleyball. So again,
by the way, that's the school up north. You know that, don't you?
I know, right?
I had one football coach when I was announcing in the press box for football games, and he forbade me to say their name.
Well, now that I live in Ohio, they talk about the school up north here as well.
Yes, they do. So, anyway, I digress.
So between Bethany College and being in Ohio here, I hear that a lot. And
yes.
So I know, and I feel it for sure. So again, I want to thank you, Dr. Pigge, for everything that you have done to support Bethany College, but especially in women's sports. I look forward to seeing an amazing finished project. I have to make a commitment to get back and be able to see that when it's
there. You go
in this Dr. Joyce Pigge locker room. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Very much appreciate it.